Okay, so in the last class, we did our first experiences in Tableau, and also we talked about some basics of visualizations. So we ran out of time. We didn't have enough time to go over um, all the examples that I provided on Moodle. Also, if you check your group me, I think Kirti, or hopefully I'm not making mistake. So introduce some good materials for learning. That was really good from learning. LinkedIn Learning. Also, I introduced other materials for today. And today and next week, I keep teaching some basics of Tableau, and that's enough for your this semester submission and your assignments. But if you're interested and you think in your industry or your future, you need Tableau more, you can go over those learning and do more experiences by yourself. This class had 3 sections, so it's not, I cannot dedicate all of the sections just for visualizations. Hopefully, if at the end of semester we have enough time, I provide Power BI, but Tableau is the main tool that we covered this semester. I mean, main visualization tool. Any question from previous class?
Professor, I think it was Naomi who shared the LinkedIn videos, not me.
Okay.
LinkedIn training videos, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I record the names because it accounts for your class activity, but I just like make mistake. But Kirti also is a really active student in this class. Okay, so let's go over Tableau again. So to cover the remaining part. So can you guys see my Tableau?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So I should change my monitor from here. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Last class we talked about a limitation of Excel file. So this is an Excel file. It's very hard to interpret. So we went to visualizations, and we just click on the sheet one. If you want more sheet, click here. And dashboard and story that you see are next to a new sheet. I cover them next week. So, and we saw that we have 4 or 5 major parts. So in the left part, you see table columns, which comes from this database. Tableau has a smart internal algorithm that guess which one is numerical and which one is categorical, or which one are labels. For example, if I go here, look at customer ID or order ID. These are numbers. But if you look at Tableau, it already said, I know that's a number there, but it should be a label. It's not a simple numerical value. So if you are not happy with the internal algorithm of Tableau, you just right click, go to just change data type, and you can just basically change it to this, date, type of the variable, or convert to measure. Let's say right click, order ID, convert to measure. Now it just comes here. I know it's not a simple numerical value, it's just a label. So I right click, convert to a dimension here. Or same for profit, right click, convert to dimension. I'm pretty sure it's a numerical value, so I send it back to save it as a measure. So in the Tableau, instead of saying label variable or categorical variable, they call it dimension. And instead of saying numerical value, they call it measure. So, and in the right side, we have a column or row. It's kind of different from Excel. It's just saying that on your paper sheet, some of them goes for your X variable, and some of them accounts for your Y variable. They are rows and columns. And for example, let's look at profit on different maybe states. So my rows are state names, columns are profit. If you're not happy with this, you can just change it. So as you see in some states, you're losing money, you're not making that much money. What can you do? You can you have two other options like page and filters. Let's talk about pages. So I'm taking region, I put it in the page. Look at here, in my first page is central, and in the right side I have a navigation button. I can select, change it to east. When I click east, it starts to play this button. West, now I change to west. You can change it manually. So here you select page south, east, or central. You know that Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Texas are central United States versus east. Massachusetts is in the eastern of United States, so you get the data here. Or you can put some filters. So let's look at say.
Sorry, Professor.
Yes.
How do you get the region tab? Because it doesn't show for me the region tab on the right side.
Okay, let me just do it again. I right click remove. Now I see profit in all the states. Look at the left side, there's a region here. Could you see?
Yes.
Drag and drop on pages.
Okay.
If you don't see here, play with show me might be you deactivated somehow. But you drag and drop here. Now in the right, you can either play it with this button, like now I hit play, now it goes south, west.
Got it. Thank you.
Or you're welcome. Or I just do it manual. So this is another cool tool that Tableau provides for you, but depends on your research or your business. You don't have to use all the tools. You know, the goal is not just being knowing all the tools. The goal is using them efficiently. And let's put a filter here. Maybe I'm look at the sum. I'm just saying that I don't want to look at all the sales. Maybe I just want to look at the states or that I have more than, let's say more than 500,000. You can just do it manually to 0. So in the south, we just have the Florida information. Let's change it to central. So as you see now, because of the filter, I don't see all the states. Maybe instead of looking high income or high sales states, and I want to look at the states that I'm doing low performance. So maybe I look at less than almost 500,000. You can change it manually. Now, for example, in the West, these are, I'm looking at the locations that I'm not performing well. Maybe East, South. As you see, all of them are less than 500,000, just 70K, for example, here. What I recommend, I mean, for your assignment or your personal learning, just play with these different things. So for example, instead of sum, maybe you can look at median, mean, average, count. It really depends on what you want to do. So basically just explore by yourself and see what can you see. So these part marks are for the center of your figure. For example, let's again drag and drop save. And I can change it to toolkit. So when I go here, I see sale. You see the small rectangle. I see the exact sale amount when I drag my mouse over them. Or I want this one to account for color. And look at the right side. So darker color means more sale. So now the color change. Or again, I can drag and drop and say I want this one just show me size. So fatter means more, narrower less. Here maybe doesn't make that much of sense. We had in the next figure, we discovered a figure that makes sense to when you change the internal part. So any questions so far? Okay, I know it might be a little ambiguous for you, but if when you play with Tableau, you will enjoy it. It's really easy software, and you just need to make your hands dirty. And no worries, there's so many options. You may not even need to learn all of them. Maybe just some part of Tableau is more than enough for your project or your business. Now let's look at another feature. So in that Excel file, we had 3 tables. So orders, return, just saying if any order return, or user. So let me drag and drop user. So it just has a status and order. Is it return or not return? In the performance option, you can select if you select many to many, one to many, or one to one. So these are related to your database course. So I don't want to cover here. If you already had that course, probably this cardinality makes a lot of sense for you. But for now, just leave it as it is. And also users. So in the user table, we have a region column. And also in the orders table, we have a region column. So this is the common part between them. So it's the reason they select these 2 columns to connect that 2 tables. So let's just make a visualization or query that needs the information of these 2 tables, orders and users. So we know that order table doesn't have information of users or a store manager here, I guess. And because orders just has what happened in each order, users are basically store managers. So we want to see how those store manager work. Just select a new sheet with this button, new worksheet. Okay, so now as you see, I have more sections. For example, now I have a status and also manager names. Okay, so for rows, I put manager and also save for the column. Yeah. So you can see William, oh sorry, now here Chris is the best manager in terms of overall save, and Sam is the worst one. But maybe you also want to compare their profit. Let's just drag and drop here. And just say show it with color. And let's just change the colors. That one. Maybe this one's better. So as you see, Chris has the highest sale and has the darkest color, highest height, darkest color. So we are very happy with Chris. He's not only he or she, I guess Chris mostly. Sometimes I see some girls are named Chris anyway, but Chris has the highest sale and highest profit, while Sam has the lowest sale and lowest profit. So here you might end up making some decisions like, first of all, maybe Sam needs to have more education, or maybe he or she is in the region that needs some promotion. Maybe they just open a store and maybe they should do marketing in the Sam's region. Let's drag and drop region. And now I want to say, show me as a toolkit. So Sam is in the south, Chris central, Erin in the east, William west. So Sam in the south, maybe you need to do some promotion, some marketing, or if you think you did all your best, but Sam doesn't perform, but maybe you should replace him or her. Any questions?
Hi, Professor. I would like to ask you, since you just make some relation from data source part, will that relation make some will this something happen for to change our previous sheet? It's an
When you add this, you are talking this relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, when you add this relationship, you don't change each sheet, but you just add their information here. Do you look at them? Now I have a user table, returns table, and orders table. How?
Oh.
Yeah, so we don't change anything here. We just add more variables. And how these tables work together, look at here. Let me look at orders. These are orders. Hopefully, okay, let me click on that. Okay. In the orders, you just see basically when they happen, what was in each order, and maybe the location and date. I look at the region, you have the region information, but you don't have the store manager information, right? In users table, I have a store manager, and I know in each region I have one store manager. Look at the report. This report has manager that comes from the user table and also has sale information that comes from orders table. So for this report, I need to have information of that two tables together. So for this reason, I just connect them together based on the common table, or sorry, common variable. The common variable was region. Since this is an online course, so I give you a couple of more minutes to play with the Tableau. And if you have any questions, I just wait. And after that, I'll go to next visualizations. Okay, everyone, look at the next visualization in your in-class activity PDF file. So I posted on Moodle. So as you see now, we don't have any row and columns. We don't have any page or filters. Everything's on the middle. So we just work with the March section of your Tableau. So I give you a couple of minutes to see if you can recreate this figure or not. So just see, I have a sum of sale. I use it twice, one for size. As you see, some rectangles are larger, means I have more sales. Sum of sales for color, and as you see in the right section, darker color means more sale. And also, I dropped date variable from here, over date, 2 times, and 1 time as a year, quarter, and month. And if it's not in this way, you can just right click and change it from year to quarter or to month. And as you see, all of them are T, means label, which means you see the information. For example, first information is year, second label quarter, third label month. So I give you a couple of minutes as a practice to see if you can do it. Then I use my Tableau to create it for you. Okay, let's do it for now. So I click on new sheet, new worksheet. Okay, so for the center, I have save. One time accounts for the size. Again, save as color. Then I pick order date as the year. So this figure just shows me amount of sales. So darker sale more, larger rectangle more, but I don't see their year. When I take my mouse over the sheet, I see a amount of sale here. I need a year, but I want to show on the rectangle. So I click here and change it to label. So now you see the year. Second time, I drag and drop the order. Now change to quarter automatically. I change it to label. So I see Q3, Q1. And last time again, drag and drop date. So now it accounts for that, but for month, but I want to change, see that is, so I change it to label. So can anyone tell me in which month I have the most sale? Which month I had the best performance in terms of total sale?
The November?
No, November of what? Which year?
2012.
Yes, November 2012, which was the fourth quarter. Yeah, it's easily to see, and it seems any of each year I have my performance is low, like in the January of 2013, maybe January and February of 2011, 10, which somehow could make sense because after Christmas, maybe there's not that much of sale. People already bought everything that they want. Again, your goal should be how to have a good storytelling. You may not need to do all of the visualizations. Maybe just do, in this class, you learn like 10 or 12 types of visualization through Tableau, but maybe for your project or your business, just one or two is enough. Your goal should be presenting in the best way. You have the best story with the best visualization. Any questions so far?
Professor, I have a question.
Sure.
For this visualization, does the direction of the boxes mean anything, or is that just Tableau fitting everything together into quarters?
Yeah, I mean, Tableau just fit by itself. So yeah, it has some internal intelligence. So for example, when I drag and drop date, I never say which one year, quarter, or month, just internal like algorithm of Tableau. Okay, good question. Anyway.
Okay, thanks.
So let me go over your slides. Okay, let's just review a little bit of visualization. So sorry if the remaining of part of this class might be a little boring, but anyway. So I think you're pretty much familiar with the Scatterplot. But it's just showing an association between two variables, which are on the X and Y variable. So for example, here is talking about golf ball distance versus club head speed. And higher speed, higher distance. Could make sense somehow. And you might remember in the previous course, in your statistic courses, that you can fit linear regression or any regression that represent this association between your X variable and Y variable. This we have also line, which most commonly used to plot continuous data. Not necessarily you can somehow make it make it works for uncontinuous data or discrete data too. If you can use it for time series, different time spans. Okay, so this is actually interesting. So time is spent crying in the class. So yeah, I mean, for me it was kind of true. I'm not sure about you guys. What about this figure? Do you think it's the right figure or not? I think during COVID, single people had more challenges, especially it was much harder to meet another person, but don't drink alcohol. I mean, not healthy, not good for your health, but do more exercise. But this is a COVID time. Hopefully next year this figure will change. This line chart also talks about unemployment rate in Eurozone, which is kind of interesting for me because I expect after 2008 or 10, which it was a financial crisis, I expect we have less unemployment. But interestingly, after 2008 to 10, which have global, we had global financial crisis. After that, still we have raise in the unemployment rate in most of the European countries. Look at the Greece and Spain. It's like almost near half of the people are unemployed. It is really a disaster. Versus Germany is about 6%. I think US should be around 6% in normal time. I mean, before COVID, but which is a healthy unemployment rate. Or Malta, Netherlands, Finland, but like 39%, 35%. It's really unhealthy. Sometimes instead of having like a very occupied figure, so you have so many lines, maybe just plot the figure, I mean the mean of the figures, like this one, the average wait time for passport control. And instead of that, you have basically a shade around the average figure or average line. This is account for a standard deviation, how it deviated. So as you see, the wait time is increasing, especially near August and September. Can anyone guess why waiting time is more, I mean, passport control wait time is usually more around August and September?
Holiday times.
For what?
Is it during because it's coming to a holiday soon in December and November?
I mean, November, December, yes. So what about August and September?
I mean, after September will be November, December, so it'll be like, so more people want to take their passport, I'm guessing.
Is that when school starts?
I think, yeah, I could, both of you could write, but I think for November, December makes sense, but this time usually for school time. Yeah, there's so, especially maybe it's for United States, so near August and September, so many international students comes to United States, so might be accounts for passport control wait time. I think that's a good justification. Thank you, guys. But yeah, I mean, December, maybe so many tourists, they want to travel. So it might be, that one might account for more passport control wait time. Look at the growth of world population. What, you know, we suddenly a huge growth. We are now near, this is like population based on millions. So 6,000 million means 6 billion. So suddenly almost near 2000 and like a little before 2000s, we have a huge spike in the population. And as you see, most of innovation also happened at that time. So Can anyone tell me why almost for all of human history, we have less than 500 million, suddenly maybe last 40 years, suddenly from 500 million, now we are 7 billion. Can anyone, based on this figure, can anyone guess what happened?
Well, it seems to be the second agricultural revolution and then the industrial revolution afterwards.
Yes.
But you would need to know more about history to get more in depth with that question.
Yeah, I know that you should know a lot about history, but from this figure, maybe somebody said before, like, let's say 100 years ago from this part, so it was not that much of innovation. The innovation was very slowly. So we have our agricultural revolution. So at that time, civilization happened. So people start to make cities. Then pottery, invention of plow, irrigation, cities, and like, so this time, many people could easily die because of diseases. But in the almost last 10% of the history, we have penicillins, we have DNA discovery, and we have so much nuclear energy that provided enough energy for people. So innovation maybe accounts for a huge spike in the population.
I think this graph links to your previous last Monday's graph on the life expectancy. So it's like there's increase in expectancy as time goes by from the 18th century, 1800s onwards. So probably that's one of them as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that could be related. Also, that figure is mostly about GDP, but you can also say in the last part of the human history, we have a lot improvement in GDP, in expected life, and also a lot of innovations. Very good answer. Thank you. So my point is, look at your figure should have a good information, and also you should be very good in storytelling. Especially, we have analytics competition, which I encourage all of you to attend the competition. You can attend just those hours and get the attendance credit, but you can compete, and no worries, with each competition you learn a lot. Also, I talk about informs. Let me just show that. So let me go to informs. This is the most prestigious institution that I strongly recommend to join. So this institution provides so many resources for you. Each day, like new techniques, new research, new innovations in the business, and provides so many learning for you. Also, each year they have the annual conference. So informs annual meeting 2021. Let's see, where is it this year? Okay, this year is in the California, Anaheim Center, State, California. Okay. So if you're
I think, Professor, is this the one like last year we had crop challenge
yes.
Contest? Okay.
Okay. If you're graduating next year, I mean next year May, I strongly recommend to join this institution. They send you so many information, including if you want to go to PhD, they email you about the PhD programs and which professors are hiring. Also, when you go to the inform meetings and you see so many professors from many schools, you can talk about the program and show off your research and just show you're a good student. On top of that, all the good companies in the analytics section just comes there. For example, you see Walmart, Amazon, T-Mobile, Facebook, Instagram, Google, all of them comes to this conference and hire people in the analytics. So you go to the conference, you show your resume, and if they are interested, they make interview. So let's make Google Informs 2019 Career Fair. Because in 2020, we didn't have that. It was all online, unfortunately. So these are the companies that came to the conference as employer, you know, Intel, Apple, Amazon, those airlines. Even some Chinese university comes there. They are hiring professors, I guess, not for industry, but Bayer is very good in healthcare. Norfolk, I think, is for rail. It's in the rail industry. JD, I think, is a Chinese company, I guess. I'm not very sure. So if you want to be very active in this field, I strongly recommend to join. I think the fees, I think it's at most $40. So with $40, they provide all of this information for you. And also they have some local meetings, like Informs. Okay. 2021. Conference calendar.
They actually have very good publications as well, monthly publications, which I really enjoy. Yeah.
Very good. So March 3rd upcoming. So Regional Business and Conference in Seattle. I think this one is online, probably virtual one, because of, so they expect by May people could attend. So they have a regional there. This one is Colombia. So if they are in other countries, probably, hopefully you can find in your country too. So there's a business analytics conference in Texas, Indiana, which is kind of closer to us. So these are many of them in the west part of the country. But again, this is actually a really good source. We wanted to actually start it last year. We wanted to start a student chapter, but because of COVID, everything was almost gone. So hopefully we want to reactivate this year. So there's a student who's the chair of Informs at Clark. I asked her to provide more information for you guys, but you can target this conference for the next year, next fall or summer, or any of those like annual meeting is the most prestigious one, but business analytics conference also is a really good one. So you can target them ahead of time and have a publication or present your research and meet the professors, meet the companies, and hopefully you get most of the thing from the conferences. Anyway, so let me go back to the lecture. Any questions so far?
Professor, so the x-axis that for the figure that you're showing, so the x-axis corresponds to the year?
Yes, but I think
it's quite deceiving.
Yeah, I know it's not the best kind of visual. It just minus something just mean. I mean, they are talking about ADN, like before crash and after crash. So it's the reason it's for some years we have negative. So this one is about comparison of employee satisfaction based on the survey that they had in 2 different years. So you can just compare how it improved or decreased. This one is a bar chart. So you have X Y, and also in each bar you have color associated to mode of the transportation. So as you see in the left side, I think this is the early version of Tableau probably, so it's not that much fancy. So ship mode, like as you see, for example, in furniture, most of shipment was with truck because the blue color associated truck. And for technology, most of them transported by air, maybe because they're lighter. Or you can just use it for showing profit. So this is accumulated company profit. So, and as you see, most of product revenue was most of it, then sales services, but in fixed cost and variable cost, it just deducted, and the final company's profit is 320K. Or like showing this quantity sorting subcategories. These are just different types of bar chart. And the one is heat map. So we had something similar for sales. You might remember we had it here. So basically, when you are limited in X and Y, so you can show one variable with your X, one variable with your Y, or one for row, one for column. For more variables, which is like third dimension, you can use the center. So for example, here color is associated to profit, so darker, more profit. I mean, darker green, more profit. Darkest red means actually losing money. But my point is, your page or your sheet has two dimensions. So if you just want to use X and Y, you're limited to two variables, one for X, one for Y. If you want to show more variables, maybe you can play with the center of your figures. For example, just playing with the color, size, so you can add more and more variables. But I don't think you can project more than 4 variables. It might makes your figure more complicated, which is not a good practice. So we want to have a concise figure that transfer more information. Like here is about, I mean, I think it was for searching for Malaysian flight who just, they lost it. They think they would be in the middle of ocean. So X and Y accounts for the location. So now if they want to show the depth of ocean, they should use color, so deeper or more shallow section of the ocean. Like here, X and Y accounts for location in England. This is the map of England. So if they want to show more information, so the third dimension is amount of antibiotic prescription. So as you see in December, we have more prescription because of cold probably. And in August, which is a warm season, there's not that much of prescriptions. So again, just saying that color can be used as introducing new dimension or new information in your figure. Same for here. Also, on top of Tableau, maybe you can use your creativity. You don't have to use Tableau. You have some assignments in Tableau, but I mean, for your project, you don't have to limit yourself. You can use your creativity and just sometimes using some funny figures, and that's totally fine. The most important thing, your figure should be good for your story, and you should convince people about by your story. Look at this figure, it's really interesting. So can anyone explain this figure to me?
So it's based off of just throughout like a calendar year, and it shows, I assume, the volume of breakups as according to their Facebook status given a specific day or time or something.
So could you tell me why 2 weeks before winter holidays we have the most of the, breakups, or like before spring break we have most of breakups? Look at here, just before spring break, just before Christmas. So could you explain why we have 2 peaks here?
So if we're considering that it's younger people who are still, say, in school, or at least still around the mindset of around like a school year, then those are the times that you're going away from the people you're seeing. So maybe that has an effect on people just breaking up over stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the story, but this figure also really helpful. So you can see based on the Facebooks, it seems that associated to breakups. So I think you can do something similar in Tableau, but this one is not done Tableau. It's just people maybe just use PowerPoint. So it just showed that amount of injuries in different sections of the body, like for example, near ankle and knees or upper leg. Maybe most of the injuries are in this here, in this area for the NFL players. So next class, I do some visualization from this source. So I put the link. And when you click on the link, you can see some tables. If you have time, just look over that URL link that I provided for you, so you can see some tables ahead of time. Maybe if you're interested, you can do some visualization by yourself, but basically I cover it in the next class. I didn't go over this basically buttons, but similar to other general softwares, we have like edit, and basically save button, new sheet, clear, run, grouping, show hide card. We cover them later, but you don't need to memorize it. Just there's a toolbar that has so many sections. And for this semester, we don't cover all of these sections, but you have a good grasp of the most useful part of them. I think a little talk about this. Okay. So for the next week, we have 2 readings. I posted on GroupMe today. So we have basically a paper to study and also chapter 2, section 2.1. We just spend time and read it. And next class, we'll talk about them. Also for reading materials, thanks for Kathy. And yes, Naomi posted the first one, which is the Tableau learning over LinkedIn. So if you think on top of what I cover in this class, you need more about Tableau, you can go over these 2 links. First one is provided by LinkedIn Learning, which Clark is registered. So I think your access should be free. And also Tableau has its free learning. So you can just go there and discover these free tutorials and get good grasp, especially if your project you need more, you can access to them. And also last not least, I had a guest speaker. She didn't have any background in analytics, but later she changed her major from, I think it's about biology and healthcare. So she learned Tableau and other visualization tools and use it in her work. So please watch this video and you can see if you want to go to the industry section. So maybe you're not interested for PhD. What you can look at a good example of a lady who used analytics tools and visualization a lot in her work, and she was pretty successful. She worked in a very good companies, and basically you can get inspired. I wanted to show this video for the class, but I think it's better to watch on your free time later. So in case you have questions about her or want to contact her, I think her information is provided in the video, but if you want detailed contact information, you can just reach me and basically, I provide further information for you. Any questions?
I have a question. What is the format of the quiz next week going to be like?
It's like an assignment. So I name it quiz, but the class is online. So you have a limited time. For next week, the date that you have quiz, I provide the quiz questions by 12, and you should submit it by 10 p.m. And it's like multiple choice. Some sections, for some questions, you should put some writings.
Okay.
That's it. And it's from everything that I covered in the class, your textbook chapters, and also PowerPoints.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I expected we could have more questions, but no worries. So if you have further questions, please post over GroupMe. Me or your friends answer over GroupMe. Also, again, about 20 minutes of class is left. So it's for the video that I posted on your PowerPoint. Please watch the video and you can get a good grasp of what can you do with analytics. And she talked about her challenges and how she could successfully use her knowledge in Tableau in her business. So if there's no question, that's for today. Please watch the videos and do the readings, and see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Professor.
Professor.